Was a smackdown to a rogue left-wing, low-level district court judge who have relentlessly tried to stop.
The press room was packed, and the tension could be cut with a knife. The moment was electric. You could feel the anticipation in the air. Reporters were ready, cameras were rolling, and everyone knew that this wasn't just your typical day in politics. This was about to be big. Karoline Leavitt had entered the arena, and she wasn't here to play games.
The president has imposed secondary tariffs on the Maduro regime and on Venezuela in the form of oil, which is obviously going to have a...
Before we dive deep, let us know where you're watching from. If you enjoy insider stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we've got more jaw-dropping content coming your way soon.
The administration is wholeheartedly committed, of course, to ending the inflation nightmare caused by the Biden administration. Look at the deregulation efforts. Look at the president.
The door swung open, and Leavitt walked in, calm, composed, and ready to take on the world. She stepped into the press room like a gladiator entering the Coliseum. Every eye locked onto her as she adjusted the microphone, scanning the room with the precision of a lion sizing up her prey. The air was thick with tension as reporters, their pens ready, knew they were about to witness something historic.
States, but also the non-monetary tariff barriers and the regulations, if you will, that have been put into effect over the years.
Leavitt took her time, and when she spoke, the room fell silent. Her first words were razor sharp, designed to cut through the noise. "Let's get one thing straight," she began, her voice piercing through the room like a blade. "What you're about to hear today will expose the biggest lie in Washington."
Which way to go? A few proposals were given to the president. There was debate and discussion, and the president made his decision.
The moment was electric. The reporters exchanged glances, unsure of what was to come. Leavitt didn't flinch. She had the room exactly where she wanted it. Over the past few weeks, Ilhan Omar and the Democrats have been pushing a dangerous, reckless narrative. She continued, "They claim to fight for justice, but today I will prove to you that the truth is very different."
Exemptions, he always has open dialogue, and he'll always do, what's right, what he believes is right for the American people. But again...
Boom! The room was rocked. This wasn't just a press conference. This was a declaration. Just as Leavitt's words echoed through the room, a voice cut through the tension. It was from a CNN senior correspondent, a reporter known for never holding back. The question was blunt, direct.
Has the president's power to do it, and therefore he's doing it.
Okay, so they disagree with lawmakers who say that they don't have the power to freeze this funding.
Again, I would point you to the language.
Karoline, are you saying Ilhan Omar has been lying? The room froze. Every reporter stopped typing, eyes wide with anticipation. All the cameras zoomed in, waiting for Leavitt's response.
Chief of this White House and the White House counsel's office that the president was within his executive authority to do that. He is the executive of the...
Leavitt smirked, leaning forward as if she were about to deliver the ultimate blow. Not just lying. She shot back, her voice sharp. She's been deceiving millions of Americans. A gasp rippled through the room. Reporters scrambled to capture every word. This wasn't just a political argument. It was a battle. The gloves were officially off. At the back of the room, Ilhan Omar, stone-faced and unshaken, gripped the table. She knew what was coming, but what she didn't know was just how explosive this moment would be. The questions kept flying. A reporter from the front row pressed Leavitt. "If you're accusing Ilhan Omar and the Democrats of deception, then where's your proof?"
His support for the reconciliation package that the Senate passed, and he is counting on House Republicans to pass it.
Leavitt didn't hesitate. "Oh, I thought you'd never ask," she said. With an almost dramatic flair, she reached down, picked up a thick folder, and held it high for all to see. "Right here. Concrete evidence that exposes everything." Omar, clearly flustered, crossed her arms and narrowed her eyes. "This is absurd," she scoffed. "More Republican fear-mongering, more conspiracy theories. The American people deserve better." Leavitt didn't flinch. She stared straight into Omar's eyes, then turned toward the cameras. "Oh, we agree on one thing, Ilhan," she said. "The American people do deserve better. Better than the misinformation you've been feeding them." The tension in the room was palpable. Reporters whispered, scribbling down notes as they prepared for what was coming next. Leavitt flipped open the folder and pulled out a printed statement. It was a quote from Ilhan Omar herself. "There is no real crisis here. It's all manufactured outrage." She looked directly at Omar and then delivered the knockout punch. "What have I done?" Leavitt smirked, her tone cutting. "Unlike you, Ilhan, I don't just talk. I act." She turned back to the cameras. "While you were busy defending criminals, I was meeting with small business owners whose livelihoods were destroyed. While you ignored rising crime, I was working on policies to hold violent offenders accountable. While you dismissed border security, I was standing with law enforcement demanding action." The room erupted with reporters scrambling to capture every word. Omar's jaw clenched, but she managed to keep her smile tight, though it was clear she was rattled. Leavitt wasn't done. She turned back to Omar. "And what were you doing?" "Tweeting about oppression from the comfort of your taxpayer-funded office." The room went silent. Leavitt had just turned the tables completely. Omar exhaled sharply, clearly irritated. "Karoline, your entire argument is based on cherry-picked narratives and fear-mongering." Leavitt laughed, a sound sharp and almost mocking. "Fear-mongering?" "No, Ilhan. Facts," she said, tapping the folder. "These are your words, your policies, your record. You can spin it all you want, but the truth doesn't change just because it's inconvenient for you." Omar leaned forward, eyes flashing. "Let's be real, Karoline. This isn't about me. This is about you and your party using division to score political points." Leavitt didn't miss a beat. "You're right about one thing. This isn't just about you. It's about every politician who puts their radical agenda ahead of the American people. And guess what? The people are done with it." She turned back to the cameras, her voice louder and more direct. "America is waking up. No amount of spin, excuses, or silence is going to change that." Boom. The room exploded. Reporters shouted over each other. Cameras flashed. Social media was already buzzing, and it was clear that Leavitt had just changed the game. Omar wasn't ready to back down. She leaned forward again, this time with an even more intense glare. "And what about your side, Karoline? Should we talk about dark money? Should we talk about billionaires funding smear campaigns while working families struggle?" Leavitt chuckled, not amused. "Oh, Ilhan, please. You can try to deflect all you want, but the fact remains. Your biggest donors aren't just writing checks. They're buying influence." She tapped the folder again. "Let's be very clear. These are foreign-linked groups, organizations with deep financial stakes in the policies you push. And yet, you claim to represent the interests of everyday Americans." The room was stunned. A few reporters gasped. Omar's jaw tightened, but she forced herself to stay composed. "Every dollar my campaign receives follows federal guidelines," Omar shot back. "Unlike the shadowy money funneled into Republican PACs." Leavitt leaned forward again, with a mocking smile. "Nice try, but here's the difference. My donors aren't trying to rewrite U.S. policy for their own benefit. Yours? Well, let's just say they have some interesting priorities." She lifted another document. "For example, let's talk about the recent policies you supported, Ones that just happen to align perfectly with the interests of your biggest foreign donors. Omar's eyes narrowed. She exhaled sharply. Karoline, your entire argument is based on insinuations, not facts. Leavitt smiled sweetly, almost daring her to challenge her. Then go ahead, Ilhan. Prove me wrong. Right here, right now. Name a single one of these donors who doesn't have a vested interest in shifting American policy to benefit their own agenda. Omar opened her mouth, but hesitated. The pause was enough for Leavitt to turn toward the cameras. Ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed it yourself, she said, her voice steady and clear. When confronted with facts, Ilhan Omar has nothing but silence, and that silence, that's more telling than anything I could say. The room erupted. Reporters shouted questions from all sides, trying to get the scoop. Omar, visibly flustered, gripped the table. Leavitt folded her arms and leaned back, completely composed. You wanted to talk about accountability, Ilhan, Leavitt said, with a look of finality. Well, now you have to answer for it. And just like that, the dynamic had completely shifted. Karoline Leavitt had thrown down the gauntlet. The media, the Democrats, and even Ilhan Omar herself were left reeling. This wasn't just another political spat. This was a full-scale reckoning. So, what do you think? Is Karoline Leavitt really about to change the political game for good? Is Ilhan Omar finally facing the consequences of her actions, or will the Democrats find a way to wriggle out of this one? The stakes are high, and this showdown is just getting started. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Leavitt's challenge will spark real change in Washington? Or is this just another political stunt? We want to hear what you think. And before you go, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest on this jaw-dropping story. Trust me, this is far from over, and you won't want to miss what happens next. See you in the next video.